Recording is on.
Do you have questions for that?
From my side, like Sergei, are we gonna then like test our voting, our governments, and then? So do we know like how we're gonna proceed with them after? Like we have a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, for now, this draft, for example, includes that you also have to build an implementation together with the specification. Yeah, so and we will edit the. We will check the drafts for now by formal criteria, yeah, and have a couple of editors, yeah, to help you to get your drafts through the different stages. Other questions for this?
I mean, I want to add one thing to the, in the ideation process, and for the non or less technical users, it would be good to have a place in the forum or the GitHub issues where people can also just brainstorm and start with an idea, which is not that ready yet.
Yes. Yeah, so of course, I mean, for ideas, the forum is a place to go. That's why we also started now with this draft to discuss it in the forum. So far, we didn't get so much feedback, as you can see. So it would be really interesting for us to get some more comments on this. But the idea is that after the discussion in the forum, that you can someone picks it up and really makes a draft and specification out of this. So from the dev tool team, also one of the first things we will most likely publish there is improvements of the RPC interface between wallet and app. So because this was also something during the app summit that was discussed a lot, and I saw that Pascal also tuned in here, so that everyone has a chance to comment on that and we see if this the specification hits the needs. Yeah. And yeah. More questions about this? If not, then I would say maybe Sergei, you can give us an update from the development, the core team.
Yeah, well, yes. So I mean, right now, as some of you know, we are in the preparations for the next hard fork. So basically two reasons for it. One is since we split our token migration process in several phases, the make it like more maybe convenient for the community, so not to have a fixed deadline, but also to allow people to do it in stages. It's basically a little bit more difficult for us, but it makes probably life better for the rest of the community. So the token migrations itself means updating balances. So this is already sufficient for having a hard fork. But also we will just also use it as an opportunity to implement a number of changes which are consensus breaking. So I think it happens like 3 months since the start of the mainnet. So basically, we had 3 months for working on the updates, and like in the time there was like a numerous updates which didn't require hard fork and were just released as a part of the release process, but also like there was some updates to the Sophia contracting language, like in the area, for example, like involving the data structures and implementing new data structures or implementing new primitive operations. So such changes, they are consensus breaking, and for them we would need a hard fork. So the plan is to, I think, for hard fork to occur is in the end of March. So we're going to be releasing the first release with the height depicting the marking the block at which the hard fork will kick in, probably within the next week. And right now we're aiming at like second half of the March for kicking in the hard fork. Updates the nodes and is prepared for migrating to the next release, which is called Minerva. And we're right now combining a complete list of all the changes which are significant for this release, so basically which are consensus breaking. And yeah, so I'd say stay tuned. I think it's gonna happen pretty soon. And next week we have a meetup with all our developers in Krakow. So where I think it's like quite convenient and practical to have everybody in one place when preparing such a significant step as a hard fork. And yeah, basically we are waiting for your feedback, and we'll keep you updated and posted on how we are proceeding there. So
could you tell us a little bit? I saw there are also quite some changes in the virtual machine, which I think very interesting for everyone who's working here on developing applications on top of Eternity. So I saw, for example, there's now something like an ACI, which is a bit like the equivalent of an ABI and other blockchains that helps you to deal with contracts, and also some features like with maps and lists that are quite interesting. Could you tell us a bit about this?
We are right now, as I said, we are gathering this list of all the changes. I mean, I must confess that like the virtual machine is not my area of expertise. So I don't know if we have here Nikita or somebody from the virtual machine team I think they are better prepared to update us on this one.
Okay, yeah. Then we can just say for now, I mean, the release
or we can do it basically if we get in questions in this area, so we can just do it, I think, next time. I think we schedule it for the next week on Wednesday. So as I said, we will have all the people there at your disposal, so the creators of the virtual machine will be also there.
Perfect. So next Wednesday is a good opportunity to ask questions about the VM, and the call will be in the afternoon, according to Vadut's time, right? Do we have other questions here so far? I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Thomas, we can hear you.
That's me. Hi, everyone. My name is Tomasz, and I'm actually completely new to Eternity community, and I just wanted to introduce myself and say that it's really great that we have this public developer hangout to get more personal touch with developers. I've been reading about Eternity since last summer, but I haven't done any work with it. But I'm really interested in it because I'm a Erlang and Elixir developer, and I find blockchain really promising. And I actually have one question about Varna language. Maybe this is not the right place to ask, but I'm curious, what is the current state of this language? Um, is there possible to write some simple scripts and run it already, or what is that about?
I think I can jump in here, Emil, right? Because
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
so I mean, Varna language. I mean, we have started developing Sophia language and Varna language, like with the more high-level version, smart contract language, and Varna, which is a low-level version of the contract language, like in parallel. But then at some point we decided to prioritize the Sophia due to its ease of use and higher flexibility. So right now we are wrapping up have concentrated on the features of Sophia mainly. So Varna is still on our priority list, but so right now we want to finish some leftovers that we've planned for Sophia, and then dedicate some resources to Varna. So it's still the plan is to have it released this year, but it was a little bit postponed because we have shifted resources to the Sophia language right now.
I see. Thank you.
But I mean, we would also be keen to know what the rate of community is interested in Varna, because right now we're getting pretty good feedback about Sophia, but Varna, it was kind of one of our unique proposals, sort of low-level language with not so many flexibility, but very good predictability. So it's quite interesting to hear that people are interested in waiting for this.
Actually, the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm interested in alternative ways of programming. So instead of writing code, to do something else. And when I came across Varna and saw that there is use for languages that don't have loops, for examples, that are more predictable, have more predictable outcomes, I got this idea that maybe it would be easier to invent or prototype some interface to communicate intent to the computer with same uh, flexibility as programming, but instead of writing code, but instead of doing something else. And Varna seems useful for business applications. In it's a simple language that is very useful in context of smart contracts, and at the same time, it seems simple enough to try this alternative interface for programming in general, and in this specific case, smart contracts. Um, so yeah, this is the main reason why I'm interested in development of Varna.
I see. Maybe you could also share this approach in the forum, so that's also there for a bit big audience, and we could see some people also have some other ideas to how to contribute and make this happen. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we'll do.
Cool. Other questions so far? Okay. I mean, if we don't have so many questions, and I can give also a small update, maybe what is from the apps team. So as I said, right now we are working on an extended specification for the wallet and app communication. We have already one way that is working. RPC interface, quite standard, but I know especially that some people want to create wallets. They don't find this flexible enough, and so the new draft will some more flexibility about communication protocols, how apps and wallets can communicate. And I would be really happy if we also get some feedback there. Again, we will share it in the forum, and we'll have it as a draft in this new best practice repositories. So for questions here, you can also, if you don't know where to start with something, to develop something, this is also a channel here so that we can point you in the right directions. Other than that, maybe John could give an update on some what is going on in the development tools right now.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we're basically focusing on supporting the upcoming release, on making the coverage of the development tools as good as possible, in particular making state channels as simple to manage as they can possibly be. We have a product called the middleware, which sits between the node and the SDK, which attempts to make the whole experience more usable, particularly for applications like the Blockchain Explorer, which want to give some maybe more derived results from the blockchain. We are working on a contract editor to make that more easy to use and complete.
Yeah. And if you, there's already, I saw that there are already some unstable new upcoming release that you're working now to get your hands dirty with stuff that will be released in a few weeks, then you can already do that and play around there. Yeah. More questions?
Maybe also, can I suggest I'm going to be leading our team on the call next week. If people are going to want to discuss something in particular, if they could post in the forum, that would mean that we would have time to prepare for that, and we can maybe give them some more meaningful support.
Exactly, I think it's a very good point. So because then you will be actually able to grab people who can give you the best feedback at the question you have, because we are now relatively a large team now, more than I think 15 developers with different areas and expertise. So we have some state channels experts, virtual machine experts, testing experts. So if you have questions to some particular topics and maybe want to have discussed something with a particular person, because we in our team we have a quite renowned Erlang programmers who actually were working at Ericsson and creating the Erlang language. So for you, so you can, if you have questions, so you can use this as an opportunity to also get in touch with them.
Use this thread them up. I don't know from me, you created this nice voting app during the app summit. And there's something we can do to support you with this. Emil is not listening.
Here you will. Can you repeat that?
So you were voting app during the app summit, and I wonder if there's something there we can have this support, or how this project is going.
Well, the thing we stumbled upon is basically the connection between the app and in the blockchain, and we are thinking of some way to create something like a brain wallet or some other kind of wallet that will be easier for the user to interact with apps, like in general. And now we are mostly focusing on this. We have some ideas of creating this brain wallet, which I believe it will be the easiest one to implement for this stage. And in the future, it will be nice to have something like MetaMask, for example, which will be allowing us to easily create apps and allow users to just pop in and start playing with it.
You can run apps in the there's a branch for that you also will. Emil, I think you could probably. So there's already a branch in the Race app where you have something like on app and the wallet can communicate, something like MetaMask on mobile phone, and I will also post a link in the forum so that you can play around with that.
Thanks, that will be helpful.
Okay. And there's Go ahead.
I wanted to just elaborate further on the proposals, which I believe I missed, which were discussed in the beginning of this call. I believe it will be good to focus more on this, because with the following hard forks, maybe there will be a way to implement some of them, because some of the proposals I believe will be necessary to have in the beginning. And will be nice to have some kind of framework to propose, discuss, and basically do everything around proposals to make them happen. And I think we should focus more about that, because I personally have some proposals, but I need to have a way to structure them and propose them in a good way.
I posted the link here in the chat. So if you on your lower left corner, you have this little chat window. And right now we have a draft exactly how to scale these proposals. And these proposals are for everything that is not on blockchain protocol itself. Yeah. So on the application layer, so how wallet and an app communicate, but also how derivation paths and things that helps us all if we use the same standards, because it makes our applications compatible with each other, and also improves hopefully the user experience for all apps, because people don't have to learn different methods and things, and can rely on, okay, this is how apps work on Eternity. But of course, so that we want to side all of this and we do a contribution so that we can also address your please go in the forum and comment on this and see what you think about it. And as I said, we will today is I think the last day for comments, and then we create a GitHub repo, hopefully addressing all the input we got until then.
Okay, I will see it and then comment on it.
Nice. Andrea, is there something you? Good. Stoyan, since I saw that you are here, maybe you can also introduce yourself, because I think the work you are doing to help with user testing and improving the user experience of applications is also very interesting for everyone here.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Stu Young. I've been part of the Eternity project for a while now, since May 2017. I was working on other things, mainly design. For the past few months, I've been working on usability and user testing, which applies to the entire ecosystem, meaning the documentation of the protocol, the dev tools, the apps, the Eternity Ventures projects. The goal is to make the ecosystem as human-friendly as possible, and I'm here to help facilitate that. You'll hear more from me in the future. Also, what Thomas said earlier was very interesting, this idea of creating a tool to help people write smart contracts in an easy, user-friendly way. So this is one way to help make the project easy for people to participate and to understand blockchain and to interact with it. So I'm here to support things like this, and user testing is and incorporating user input is a huge part of that.
Then I can also have just one thing. I don't know if you saw it. We're currently working on a new tool that helps you to, if you develop applications with state channels, called Playground. And I mean, we also have a topic for that in the forum, and would be also very great to get some more input. Also, what you're missing there. Also, if you're missing documentation of different parts. Also for that, the forum is a great place to let us know, or open an issue in the repositories where you're missing things. Yes.
Yeah, and we read the forum, so if people post there, it's the right person is likely to respond, and if they're not, we can route it to that person.
something that is not like directly related to this, but the next week we will have our next blockchain developers meetup, and it will be focused mostly on Sophia Lang. So we'll be making some kind of workshop / tutorial / hacking on Sophia. So if somebody is around, can easily jump in if he's into it.
Okay, cool. Where will it happen?
We haven't yet. It will be in Puzzle Co-working, I believe, at the 20th of February. We will announce it today or tomorrow. Yeah.
That sounds great. Any other questions? I get started with the development, or maybe someone wants to share an idea about something they want to build, but they don't know how exactly and where to start. Also, great opportunity here to get some answers. Okay, so then I would say, if they're not
Emil, please check the chat. There is a message from Craig.
Dari, what did you say?
Check the chat. There's a question from Christoph.
Christoph. Okay, how far is the ANS implementation? So, for now, we have the test namespace, and I think all the major SDKs also have support for this, if you want to work with it. On the consumer-facing side, I didn't see so many apps yet that make use of it. I think since the test namespace is also yeah, everyone can register name there. We'll see how it goes. I think Sergei maybe will give an update what is planned there for the next release.
Sorry, Emil, you were breaking up. I couldn't hear you. You asked me about the next.
Yes, if there's some changing for the naming system in the next release.
So, like regarding the next release, I mean, the focus of the next release, as I said, is preparation for the upcoming hard fork. So basically, the most interesting part probably will be the hard-coded height of the hard fork in the testnet. So right now we are planning to hard fork in the testnet next week, and then spending several weeks like monitoring, testing, and making sure that the mainnet hard fork will go okay. Regarding the naming servers, I'm not sure if there were any changes. I know there were changes regarding the naming of the product, but regarding the renaming, I'm not sure.
No, it's about the Eternity naming system that you can register names. We have the test namespace for now, and if it's land, but I would also say maybe we take this question to next week, yeah, and then we can tell a bit more about.
But to answer like the question, I think there will be no. I mean, the switch from test, the reason for test names was that we haven't finished the reasonable like pricing methodology for names, to avoid name squatting. So I mean, we know if you want to do it as an auction, but it's still been specified. So I think until it's going to be done, I think it makes sense to hand on the testing names for a while to avoid like valuable names being snapped in the very beginning and then being held hostage there. So we're taking quite cautious approach here, and we will switch to like production in quotes names once their auctioning is finalized.
Okay, Christoph, did you have a look in the current naming specification in the protocol?
I think the way we want to avoid the collisions with Internet TLD, we want to our top level domain will be .ae. I mean, I think if we're using characters, there's no way to predict that any top domain name we think for us won't then pop up as a top level domain in the internet. But right now we gonna end all the names with AE, and such one doesn't exist at internet so far.
Okay, did this answer your question, Christoph?
And also the specifications is publicly available in the protocol repository. So I think the best way to make a suggestion is just to make a comment directly to the protocol branch which contains the specification for the naming system.
Okay, then I would say we end this call for next week if there are not more questions. Last chance.
Proposal for the next Dev Hangout to have some sort of agenda and be more structured, so we know in advance what will be discussed and maybe add something to it. And yeah.
Yes, I think this was now a first thing that we do these calls, to also see a little bit the needs, and the next from now on we add more and more structure until we think we have too much structure. And I think it's great if you can post also questions in the forum beforehand, so that we have also a chance on our side to make an agenda out of it and get the answers. That's a good suggestion. Okay, so the next call will be next week on Wednesday, 20th of February at 5:30 p.m. Vaduz time. And I would say then thank you very much for joining us, and
see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Emil.